Hi, I'm Becca. Right, sewing. Today, I thought I would try my hand at making Regency stays. A few weeks ago, when I finished binging Bridgerton. So, I was late to the party, as is custom, and now I must have stays. Before I get too ahead of myself, this is the pattern I used. It is Redthreaded's Regency short stays pattern in a size small, and yes, I did spill coffee all over it. Gonna try and figure it out. As I do that though, I have a tendency to rush projects, and that leaves me with a result that I'm not always proud of. And so by doing a process video, I am hoping that I can kind of slow myself down, stop and talk through my plan. So, have all my pieces cut out. I used an old sheet for the lining, and then I used these awesome scrap pieces of taffeta, and that's what I'm using for this. So I've got this nice like kind of textured pink, like baby pink. And then my sides are this sort of like, it's vaguely iridescent sort of tan. 4 gussets, 1 center front panel cut on the fold, 2 back panels, side panels, and oh, there it is. That's the gusset pattern piece. Yay. All right, I'm gonna go put on comfy clothes. Like I said, I've already got the pieces cut and marked. So here's my center front where I'm gonna cut the gussets, which is I think the step I was on, but yes, it was, because I was too scared to do it before, which is why I waited like 2 weeks to do it, which is probably not ideal. So, got all my pieces, gussets, and I'm gonna show you the back sides for now. And you can see I already got my spot marked where I'm gonna do grommet there. And then these are gonna be boning channels, boning channel, boning channel, more boning channels, all boning channels. Okay, I'm on gussets, that's what matters. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take scissors and cut down these lines very, very carefully, iron them open, and then lay the gussets in, pin them in, and then you top stitch over them, is my understanding, so you get a nice little view here. And oh god, whose video was it? No. Thistle and Stitches has a video that helps it really helps me to just watch other people do the stuff. Hers was really, really helpful. And Kat's Costumery, if you're watching my video, you've probably watched one of her videos. She has a hand stitching this exact pattern, and just watching how she did that was super duper helpful. Anyway, let's get to the exciting part. Let's get to cutting some stuff. You just gotta do it sometimes. Oh my gosh, why is this so stressful? Right, almost to the point. Number 2. Oh geez. Great. And then we're going to iron these out like that. We'll go from there. Probably should have stay stitched around these openings, but I didn't, so I love skipping steps. I love finding out which steps you can skip. Now we need to get the gussets. I think I might trim these down a little bit since they're fraying. Pinking shears. Make sure not to cut my stitches. I don't know, it just seems like the right thing to do. We'll see. So at this point I am pinning in the gussets and preparing to top stitch them down. And then once that's done, I'm going to assemble all of the pieces by pinning them right side to right side, sewing it down, and then flipping open. And that's what you're seeing here. Okay, here we go. This is the part where the pattern tells me to reinforce all the seams immediately. And I might not do it. Shh, don't tell. Remember how like 5 seconds ago I said I was like gonna reinforce the stitches even though the pattern said to? Can you see that? Yeah. I see why I should have. I've already stitched down the seams, and I really don't want to seam rip this fabric, but I don't know if I can just leave that. So I think what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna take it out. I think I have to undo that and redo it, and I really don't want to. This is why you follow the instructions. Alright, so I did the good thing and I undid my stitching, reinforced the stitches, and then stitched the seams back down. This is the first one done. So much startier. So I'm gonna keep going on the other ones. Okay, minus all the threads that I've neglected to cut, and all the ones that are all over my pants. I'm at a pretty good stopping point today. Part of my goal with this whole like filming myself and talking through the process is, like I said, to make sure that I'm slowing down and actually doing the process. After my mini snafus, I finally got all my seams reinforced and stitched back down. I have my gussets sewn in. I have so many threads to clean up, oh my gosh. Roughly fitted, I think it's gonna fit right. I mean, it's always easier to fit stuff like this anyway because it laces and so it doesn't have to be like quite as exact. I don't know. This is where I did my little makeshift boning channels, so the seams are all tucked away under there and nicely reinforced. I don't know, I like it so far. I can, you know, trying not to be too nitpicky on myself. I can see some places where I might want to firm it up with some hand stitching, and I might do that later, because if I keep trucking on this right now, I think I'm gonna mess it up. Being honest with myself, taking a break, and I'll work on some more tonight or tomorrow, or I don't know, we'll see how it goes, but that's where we are now. It's been like a full 2 weeks since I last was like, I'll get back to this tomorrow, but I'm doing it. I have all afternoon, I'm gonna do it. Cool. Recap where we are. I need to make binding, then I need to put the boning in, then I need to apply said binding. I may do a couple of things by hand. I want to reinforce the gussets on the bust. The other thing is that I didn't buy boning. I knew what I was making, and it just slipped my mind every single time I ran out for odds and ends, every single time I was out and about, even when I was looking online. So, I really want to get this done today, preferably, so I'll be using zip ties. Okay, great, let's get started. So here I am marking out and cutting my leftover taffeta pieces into equal strips. I think I did about 2 inches width. And I'm gonna sew them all together and make as much binding as I can. I always forget how this works. So, no, you want it to go the other way. So, you sew them that way so that they will lay that way. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. a bunch of times, and then that'll be that. I forgot to show the first part of the ironing, but basically you just iron either side to the center and then fold down the center so you have binding. This is where we are so far. It's absolutely a mess, and I did it in all the wrong order, I'm pretty sure. What I have left to do, clean it up a little bit. I still need to make my holes and do my grommets in between here, and I am probably going to reinforce these edges just a little bit because, yeah, I didn't intend this, but you can kind of see, oh, maybe you can't really see it on the camera yet, but you can kind of see a little shadow of the floral fabric underneath, which, I don't know, I think is kind of a cute accident. Even with all of my hiccups thus far, I kind of am obsessed with this. It's funny to make something so pretty that is just gonna go under your clothes. Oh, and the other thing I have to do is, oh, I don't want to show you this part because it's kind of a mess. I have to put a grommet here and on the front where it's marked so that I can then tie the strings for attaching it. I'm probably not gonna film a lot of this except for maybe the grommets because that's fun. Great. So it's done. If you are familiar with Regency stays, you will have noticed the last time I said I was done, how I actually had neglected a major feature, which is the drawstring at the top. I just kind of like went back in and faked it. I am not going to show you right now because it's on my body, but I just kind of very, very carefully cut little holes in my silk taffeta and then stitched around the openings and then fed the ribbons through to where they're supposed to go. So they're attached here and here inside the binding, like a little channel, and then there's a middle one, and they come out there and make a little bow so you can cinch it down across your bosom, which gives you the, I didn't get it quite as busty as they do on Bridgerton, but you know, a girl can only dream. But ultimately, like, I'm really pleased with this. I think it turned out better than it had any right to, and also I learned so much to the point that I think this is probably actually my first real like mock-up of this pattern. I think it's really pretty. I think it worked out well. It fits the way it's supposed to, and structurally it feels pretty good for now. So I'm gonna get started on a chemise, and I just got the fabric that I'm gonna make my actual dress out of. I really, really do think that having those check-in moments, just like with myself, as I went and having to explain the process, kept me from making so many more mistakes than I normally would make on a project like this. So all in all, pretty successful experiment. So come back for another one. I don't know. That's what I'm doing. Thanks for watching. Yay, stays. They're staying. Make everything stay. Where it's supposed to stay. Is that why they're called stays? I don't think so. Okay, bye.